Okay, so in this last section, section 3.6, we're going to look at other ways to earn an income. So different ways than the ones that we've talked about. So pretty much anything that's different than hourly wage. So the first one we're going to look at is called piecework. And if we remember from the very first section, piecework is where you get paid per item or per thing that you do. So tree planting was our example. Now with these kinds of questions and with all the questions, like I said, it's really important you grab a highlighter and go through and highlight the different parts of the question that are important, because otherwise these word problems can get kind of weird. So Greg works as a tree planter during the summer, and he earns 12 cents for every tree he plants. Okay, so that's how much he's making per tree. And then they're saying if he planted 1,265 trees in one day, how much did he earn? So we know that the two things we're looking at or comparing, if we're going to do it ratio, is how many dollars he's making per tree. So that's kind of the key here, is to find out what are the two things that you're looking at, what is the rate, and it's dollars per tree. So in this case, he is making 0.12, which is the same as 12 cents, dollars per one tree. And we're going to set that equal to how much money he's going to make for planting 1,265 trees. So we set up our ratio. Same thing we've done before, multiply the pair, divide the spares. So 0.12 times 1,265 divided by 1. Okay. And so then our X value will be, he made $151.80. So tree planting actually can make really good money. I'm not sure if 12 cents a tree is high or low based on today's rates. Obviously, but 150 bucks a day is not too bad. Okay, next example, flower arrangements. So I'm going to go back here. So Marissa works as a flower arrangement. She made $143.75 per 25. So she made 25 identical flower arrangements. And they want to know how much she was paid for each arrangement. Okay, so we're going to look at the same sort of setup, except in this case it's dollars per arrangement. Oh man, that was a poor way to spell this word. I'm sorry, it's on an angle. I think you guys kind of hopefully get what I'm doing here. So we know she made $143.75, but that was for 25 arrangements. So then we need to set it to, they want one arrangement. So that's going to be how much money did she make? X goes on top because money is on top. 1 goes on the bottom because it's for one arrangement. So X is going to be equal to 143.7. Oops. I'm just going to erase that and start again. Okay. $143.75. So that was that value times 1 divided by 25. Okay, so if we plug that into our calculator, we have an X value of $5.75 per arrangement. So like I said before, please make sure with this you're indicating, you don't have to write out like a word response, but let me know that you know it's $5.75 per arrangement so that I know you guys are solving for the correct thing. Because 99% of this is going to be making sure you are setting up the proportion correctly. Okay? And the way that you get the right answer is by obviously making sure you have the right proportion and you've got both the, so money on top on both sides, arrangement on the bottom on both sides. Okay. Next is commission, and commission actually involves percent. So commission would be something like when you are selling electronics. So this person Ming works on commission at a rate, oops, oh no, there we go, at a rate of 6.5% of his gross sales. So this is probably not like selling houses, I would assume. 6.5% is not very much. Maybe we're looking at, I don't know, electronics, something like that. So if he sold $9,865, how much commission did he earn? So I just want to scooch over here. When you are looking at percentage, remember that percent means per 100, okay? So when you see percent, that is the same thing as per 100, which is also the same thing as over 100, okay? So this is like a fraction per 100. So when they say he made 6.5%, that means he made $6.5 per $100, okay? So $6.5 for every $100 he sold. And that's what 6.5% would be, okay? So when we're looking at making a commission, what you want to do is you want to make, so the dollars that he made for commission as a fraction of, or a percent of the dollars that he made in sales. So we know that he makes 6.5% commission. So that means the dollars that he makes in commission are $6.5 per $100 he sells. Okay, so that's how you're going to set that up. And then they're telling you he sold $9,865 worth. So that's sales. Okay, so that's the sales. That's going to be going on the bottom, $9,865 worth. And they want to know X as how much commission did he earn. Okay, so it's all the same. You set up a proportion, multiply the pair, divide the spare. But understanding this part right here, and how you set up commission over sales is really important. And if you just remember that any percentage means out of 100 or per 100, you'll usually be able to do this first part correctly. Okay, so we're going to multiply our pair, divide our spare. So 6.5, times 9,865, and then dividing by our spare, it's important. Remember, it's not just 1 every time, so this time we're dividing by 100. Okay, so he would have made, if we do this, $641.23. So not bad. I'm not sure how long. Oh yeah, last week. Oh, and they tell you it's furniture. I'm a Muppet. I'm sorry, guys. Look, it says furniture right there, and I was like, I don't know what he's selling. He's selling furniture. So that makes sense. I was right in the end. Okay, so yeah, that's not bad for money he made per week. Usually what they'll do is they'll check and see how many hours he worked. And if this amount of money works out to be more than minimum wage per hour, they'll maybe leave it. But if it's less than minimum wage, they always have to top you up. So I'm just going to write top you up to minimum wage. Okay? You can't make less than minimum wage. And I'm just throwing this out here as like a life pro tip for you guys. It's not relative to the question, or relevant to the question, sorry. But you're always going to want to make sure that you make at least minimum wage, which I could Google right now. 1 second, hold tight. And I will find out what minimum wage is in BC, because I've been talking about this quite a lot. And I haven't actually, sorry guys, I'm Googling on my phone while I do this. And now my phone's decided not to have any internet. Oh, there we go. Oh. No, I don't want minimum wage per year. My gosh. Minimum wage per hour, you Muppets. Aha, oh. Yes, $13.85. Here we go. Okay, so your minimum wage in BC currently, just as again, an FYI, is $13.85. Now, I thought that was going to go up closer to 15. It might be. I know they were doing an increase in like increments, but $13.85 per hour. You never should make less than that. If you do, your employer's not good, and you should talk to someone, because sometimes they'll try and cheat you out of money. Anyway, let's look at this next one. This is going to be another example of commission. So, Gurpreet earned, so we're finding out how much they earned. So $416.03 commission. So this is what they made in commission on his sales of $9,245. They want to know his rate of commission. So when they're asking for rate of commission, that's like they're asking for percent commission. Okay, so this is pretty much the opposite of what we just did. So we've got our dollars commission, as a percentage of the dollars that we sell, okay? So now they've told us that he earned $416.03 commission on sales of $9,245. So this is what we have. Now, if they want you to give a rate, that means you need to put that over 100. They want to know this part right here, which is the percent commission. That's what they're trying to ask you for. Okay, so this X value right there. So again, though, same math. We multiply our pair, divide our spare, so $416.03. So we times that by 100. We divide that by 9,245. Okay, and we get 4.5, and now that's a percent. So just make sure if I've asked for a rate, you give me a percentage. 4.5%, which essentially means that he is making $4.5 for every $100 they sell. Okay? Awesome. These probably are the more tricky ones. I really encourage you, like I said, get a highlighter out. Make sure you're familiar or comfortable with, I'm just going to scooch up for a second. Make sure you're comfortable with this idea here, that percent means per 100 or over 100. Just remind yourself of that if it's been a little while, okay? Because that's one of the key things when dealing with percentages in rate questions. All right. Last question is looking at contract work. So this is, obviously, if you're a contractor, the most likely thing, or the thing that immediately comes to my mind is that maybe you build houses, or a deck or something like that, okay? So you work in construction. It can be any kind of construction. If you own a construction company, you're obviously going to get contract work, but when you're getting contract work, you have to think about a lot of different things. So this one definitely needs a highlighter. So he's hired to fix a client's house. I'm not sure what he's doing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to erase that because we don't actually really care what they've been hired to do. Okay, let's go away. Nice. Okay. What we care about is the different things that he needs to pay for. So the cost of materials is one thing, $785.96. The next thing you have to think about is labor. So he needs to hire 2 workers for 8 hours each, and he's paying them $12.85 per hour. And then the last thing, if you're in construction or any kind of contract work, is you want to make sure you make enough money for yourself after everything is done. So you don't want to just pay for the materials and, when you're giving a quote, say, to this homeowner, you don't want to just quote based on the materials and the labor. You also want to make sure you're quoting based on you making a profit, because otherwise you're not going to make any money. So they're wondering what the client should be charged. Okay, so what the client should be charged. And in order to solve this one, we're just going to take all the different pieces. We're going to figure out how much they're going to cost, or if they've told us how much they cost, and then we're going to add them up together. So the first one would be the materials. Okay, so materials, it's pretty clear they give us an amount. Materials are costing $785.96. All right, so that's pretty easy. Now if we go through, here's our next cost. He needs to hire workers because he can't do it all himself, or he could, but maybe it would take too long. So he's hiring 2 workers, and we're going to multiply that by 8 hours a day for each worker, right? And we're going to multiply that by the hourly rate, which is $12.85. So this is the dollars per hour. Okay, so we're going to multiply all those. So he's got 2 workers for 8 hours a day, making $12.85 per hour. And that will equal $205.60. So that's like his labor costs. Okay. And then the third and final thing is this last piece right here. He wants to make sure he makes at least $450 for himself. So we call that profit. $450. Sorry guys, sometimes I put my dollar sign in the wrong spot. French immersion taught me to put it after the number, which is not technically correct. All right, So we've got these 3 items, okay? And that's all the 3 things. And so then to find out how much he should charge, he needs to figure out what the total is of 1 plus 2 plus 3. Okay, so he's going to add everything else up. So we're going to add up the $785.96. We're going to add that to the $205.60 that he needs for workers. And we're going to add that to the $450 he would like to make profit. Okay, and so if we add all those up in our calculator, we get a total of $1,441.56. Now, when we look at this number here, it's unlikely that your project is ever going to come in exactly at what you think it will. So for a question like this, if you gave me that answer, that would be fine. But also, it would be smart for Fred to actually round that up, maybe to something like $1,450. Okay, because that gives us a tiny little bit of wiggle room in here. 1,441.56, like we know that would round up to 1,442, but give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room. We should do $1,450, and that's like a reasonable amount to charge because it's a nice round number, and it gives you a bit of wiggle room in case, say, you need to pay your workers a little bit more or materials end up costing a bit less. And if they don't, then you get profit, which you deserve because you did a job for someone that they can't do themselves. So rounding up is totally fine in this one case to like the nearest 10. Some places, I mean, I don't know how contract work works, but I'm sure that there are some places that might even charge $1,500 for something like this, depending on what the job was and what the materials were. Okay. So yeah, that's the end of section 3.6. Again, I'm going to ask you to do all the questions because there's no tests or quizzes right now, and also because these each have a different style of piecework. So please read the questions carefully. Please use the highlighter. So this person knits sweaters. Thomasina knit sweaters, and they charge $75.50 for a large sweater. Just start getting used to highlighting the important information. If she sells 5 large sweaters, how much will she earn, right? So by highlighting that, we know that we're looking at dollars per sweater. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that for now. Please email me or contact me if you want to go over any of these problems. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.